too much to you.
A couple hospital visits, but work in, work out.
How you doing, man? You alright?
Yeah.
Cool.
Cold out.
You want a blankie?
Okay. I got like layers.
Yeah, because I bought a blanket.
It's not bad. I already seen like -23 this year.
Right, when you were out in the middle of the boonies shooting wolves, so you don't all get that luxury. You should
So
put like
not-
miniguns on the side of your ATV or something, make it more fun.
It's not allowed.
Oh no, allowed is a very loose. Allowed, like if you're shooting someone with a minigun and they're telling you it's not allowed, like, they'd be like, please don't shoot me with your minigun. They're not gonna be like, you're under arrest,
I mean, you're not allowed to shoot animals from vehicle.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not allowed to have loaded fire in the vehicle, in any kind of vehicle.
What's the designation of a vehicle? Like, is there some sort of?
Well, I don't remember like
Yeah.
in details, but definitely any like motorized thing
Like gasoline powered or is electric powered as well? Or like maybe like a bicycle powered, like a Flintstones. Can you shoot someone from a bicycle? That's what I want to know.
Well, you could physically.
Although those are exempt, you can shoot anybody. It's about hunting, people, politicians, your ex-wife, whatever.
What's the reason to shoot the X5?
You want to shoot your wife, you get in trouble.
Well, you don't.
You shoot your ex-wife, ex. I hope there's something wrong with that situation.
Now, if she's like already exit, then you have like no relation. So why do you care?
Unless you have to pay, was it like alimony or some shit?
That's right.
Is that what it's called? And you have to pay their living situation.
Oh yeah, but
Like
do they call it alimony in Canada?
I don't know what they call it.
Spousal support?
Yeah.
You get spousal support?
Something like that. I don't think it's just married. Did you have married? Yeah.
You know Jesse? Jesse Bursick?
Yep.
Yeah. You were trying to figure out that you just met him.
No, just Jesse McCormick.
Oh, I thought you said Jesse Bursick.
No, McCormick.
No. You know what?
You do.
You know what?
We have him in common as a friend.
Do you know Jesse Bursick?
Yeah.
Oh.
That's why I thought that's who we were talking about when you said Jesse, and I'm like, who's Jesse McCormick now? I don't know who that guy is.
You do.
Show me that cat. Well, just show me him. No, no.
Boy,
Yeah. Well, I can make another bag if you want. You want another bag of popcorn?
Yeah. Okay.
Jesse McCormick.
Some other day. Let's see what he looks like. I don't know. I know. It's difficult for me to know who he is.
There you go.
Oh yeah, I rode with him. That's right. Okay, keep in mind that streaming is live, just so be careful what you're, sharing. But
What am I sharing?
no, you're not sharing. I just mean, Drew's gonna make some sort of inappropriate comment. So.
But that's all we are. A series of inappropriate challenge accepted.
Yeah.
Work in a kitchen. There are tons of inappropriate conversations I could definitely bring up. It's the fun part in life. Talking about the taboos.
Yeah.
Like, just the other day, I was talking to my mother, and we were talking about how women are either like super, super protective over their babies, and sometimes they keep them to protect their family. Yeah.
Is that the spectrum?
There's
Is that
yeah,
the only-
it's a pretty big spectrum.
We're talking about human babies?
Yeah. Yeah, there are points in history where mothers have eaten their own child to survive. And just like have the rest of the family survive too. I mean, super desperate, like Donna Farty sort of shit, but like
what happened in Ukraine during like Holodomor and the 90s.
Yeah. So, shit happens.
Sometimes you gotta eat, baby.
Sometimes you gotta eat babies. I always like, be careful what you're saying out there.
Yeah.
I go right to baby eating.
Baby. I don't want.
It often happens when you're trying to build socialism.
Oh my God.
Oh, yes. It's an interesting topic. It's very historical. So History Channel right up in here. It would definitely make the History Channel way more interesting.
They just talk
If
about
there was way
eating
more
babies.
baby eating. I'd be like, wait, what? You have my attention. Blah blah blah. Hitler this. Nietzsche that. You know.
Oh, but this guy, he ate a baby.
Oh, sorry.
okay.
I'd look up from my video games, that's for sure. Because I usually have about 12 things running at once.
I don't know.
I don't know, just my brain looks at multiple things. I have no idea. I'll like be playing a phone game and like Fallout 76 while a movie's going on and
God damn.
throwing balls for my cats. And that's why I have dual monitor. Because then I can also play music and like do all this shit all at once. It sounds like 12 people, but really it's just me.
Nice. That didn't take long.
There's this thing that they invented called microwave. Yeah. All right, who wants to do an update on what happened last game?
I can't remember. Don't look at me.
Women, come on, bud. We're all counting on you.
I've got starter brain, so don't.
We
I
didn't get very far, did we?
We were back at those like tracks, and then we went down this thing and destroyed a bunch of shit.
I actually don't remember. All I remember is that we exited. We were either in the process of or we just exited the reactor. Or about the series of
So we sold the reactor and then we went for this like cooling facility to fix
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure whether we did it or.
You did?
Okay, and then we went to like third silo, yeah.
Oh,
And when you got in through the door, it was all like mahogany,
Yeah.
red carpets, and it
So-
looked like
yeah,
it was
yeah.
like made in like Soviet Russia, like
don't
old
remember,
school
but
50s
yeah.
Soviet Russia.
There's the entrance to like the boss level.
Yeah, and there were like pictures of
German heroes throughout history.
but with like picture of like this guy like shaking hands with Hitler.
Does he have a Hitler stash too? Not really. Kind of though.
Well, some people can't grow.
It looks, well no, it just looks like a bushier Hitler stash.
Yeah, back in the days of Bush, you know, popular.
Yeah.
Also in Australia.
Especially with the ladies.
We kept the green one of them.
Did you? Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Can I steal one of these?
We didn't talk about
Yeah, yeah.
We didn't talk about eating.
I want to try one of these so I can.
Hmm?
We
didn't
cram
talk
for each
about
one.
chambers.
Absolutely not. No chocolate eating babies.
whatsoever.
Good. Mmm. Tastes like cranberries.
Oh, sorry, I didn't have
No,
time to
really?
look up Orange Gina I was going to, but I didn't have time. Turns out I did because the bus was so late, but I missed it.
It probably didn't actually come. It was just that's the next bus that showed up, or was it like
yeah,
just super
exactly.
late?
It just never. It never
Just
came
didn't
in.
feel it going. We're like, nah, it's too cold.
Okay, so something I mentioned to these guys that I haven't talked to you about yet is obviously we're sort of getting closer and closer to the end of this campaign.
Yeah.
So I have to start building the next campaign. We'll probably take a break over Christmas. I mean,
Yeah.
it usually makes sense.
Yeah,
But I'm hoping to get going in January. There's a new guy that's coming back into town. One of my old players is coming back. So he's going to want to play with us as well, which will be good. But yeah, I figured that I'm sort of trying to figure out what our next setting would be, because I basically every time we have a game, I just build a new custom universe, more or less. And sometimes there's a little bit of repetition, or there's a little bit of like, I usually like throwing in a little supernatural here and there just because I like it. But so currently the votes are like a cyberpunk sort of universe, a Star Wars inspired universe because there's an actual Star Wars rulebook, so it makes it super easy to just like play in that universe. Corey's voted for like a sort of maybe a horror, Cthulhu, Lovecraftian style.
Because then you're dealing with like insanity points. Balance them out at the same time as like their health.
I like all of those things. Do you have any?
I go for all
No, do you have any
One for each.
of your own ideas as well? It doesn't matter. The world is your oyster, so to speak. And like I did like a 50s noir film detective style game. I've done a samurai style game. I've done a western sort of inspired game.
Samurai. With or without cannons?
What about zombie apocalypse?
What?
Zombie apocalypse.
Yeah, now zombie, I've done a couple zombie games. I have a zombie mod for GURPS that I've designed. I never got to play it because people didn't want, for whatever reason, people ended up going to something else. But it's kind of neat because it uses GURPS for a lot of the dynamic, for a lot of the game. But then it also has the you need to sort of find various resources. Like you need to find enough water, you need to find enough food, and scavenge. And so there's sort of like a built dynamics for kind of rolling random tables and locations.
Yeah, and since for like zombie apocalypse, like logic of this world is like really clear for players, and like players may give like lots of input. So what exactly will you like? It's like interesting to see what people really are gonna do like in this situation.
Right.
So
Yeah.
because you know the rules, you know your options where to go.
Yeah.
So.
I did a zombie game once where everybody had to bring with them what they would actually have. So the game started, everyone was like at the beginning, all the characters were playing themselves, and they basically had to bring with them like what they could bring to a role-playing session. So these people would bring like a backpack. You know, some people would have like a trunk, and like my buddy Nick, he had like in his trunk he had like a chainsaw and a like double barrel shotgun and like all this cool stuff. So like everybody had to bring like what they bring, but people were bringing like some people were really smart and bring like tools, and other people would bring water and food, and so all of that was tabulated. So you only had to bring it with you the first time, and then after that you basically had it on your character sheet. So like it wasn't super realistic, and that people, you know, my buddy Nick wouldn't like driving around with a double barrel shotgun in his trunk everywhere he went, or a chainsaw, but like he did it for the game so that he had them. But that was a fun game. Well, that's because he didn't have a hand. You know, he wanted to replace his hand. The other game which is the game that I developed with when Ruben and Josh and a bunch of the other players we had a game that I've been developing for like a few months, which was again, it's a post-apocalyptic world that happens after a war, after a major sort of nuclear fallout style war, and the characters were all part of when they had fought before the war, they had all been part of they all piloted a mech together, like a robot suit together, right? So like different people had different jobs, so they needed to be like an engineer, a gunner, a commander, like all these different tasks. And then when you would play, I built sort of combat dynamics that basically allowed you to sort of equalize. If you're in a mech, obviously you are very powerful, but if you're outside of a mech, you've got, like when you're fighting in a mech, you basically get one turn kind of together, whereas when you're outside the mech, you know, you get your turn separately. So if you're fighting,
you get a lot more attacks if you're outside of the mech, but you can't do as much damage. They have so anyway, so I built this mechanic for it where each mech would have a special talent that no other mech had. So if you ever let's say you started out with one mech and it was kind of not very strong or anything like that, but it had some special talent. Let's say an AI that gave you some special +1 to skill or whatever. If you found another mech that was more powerful and you decided to switch over to that one, you could take the guns and the armor and move some of that across from one mech to the other, but you could never remove that central, whatever that central talent was. So you kind of have to really pick and choose, and you couldn't have 2 mechs. It's sort of it required everybody sort of working in conjunction. So you'd all decide what you wanted to do, but then it would all sort of happen at the same time. One person would okay, we're gonna move over there, we want to shoot at that guy, and then everyone would roll to see what the result would be. So that's another sort of setting that I've done a bit of work on. So I'm fairly easy. I am sort of I'm very I'm sort of leaning towards that Lovecraftian stuff because it's one of my favorite settings.
That's where my focus. I'm
Well,
really complimenting without with a very cyberpunk, very close second.
Well, I think there would be some sort of elements of vampire hunting and role hunting.
I would like a universe I've been building on my own that has a lot of that stuff. I think it's very focused on vampires and werewolves, and there's a Lovecraftian element in their religion or something, stuff like that. And it's I'm not entirely sure how it would work in terms of an actual game.
Okay.
But I think
Well, to inspire.
yeah, I mean if
you can see how it goes.
yeah, maybe I could bounce some ideas.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
but yeah, that's what I've been thinking about for the past couple of weeks. When we finish making this thing. But yeah.
And I'm also considering rolling back on the point totals and making it less 75 instead of 100.
But your game idea, I can see that easily being married to steampunk. And there's various already established steampunk games.
Right. Yeah, and I want to avoid the steampunk element because I've done steampunk and frost and I've done a lot of that.
The universe that I've been building is more centered around modern era.
Okay.
So it's more sort of urban fantasy sort of thing.
Okay. That's comfortable.
So it's kind of equivalent of Vampire the Masquerade or something like that. That was
You can only do LARPs.
Did you play Vampire the
I don't like
Masquerade?
Yeah.
Same
Game
right
Over?
now.
We're gonna all go to Rito Center. We're gonna try
LARP
something.
Yeah.
We're gonna go to Rito Center.
Sounds
So
good.
back in Ukraine we had city role playing game on Vampire the Masquerade.
Alright.
So mix between tabletop and LARP. So we've been playing it for years.
Okay.
So I mean every people who play the game, they have chapters, they have chapter sheets,
Right.
and they have to carry with them sort of models of the stuff they have, and anyone can approach in the city, let's say after 6 p.m.
The game is on.
Yeah, the game is on, and anyone can approach you, try to kill you, or engage
Cool.
Imagine that on Bank Street, just one
Just,
thing,
randomly
running
show
at
up.
another one.
Yeah. It's just Drew's waiting at the bus stop having a smoke. You're not smoking anymore? So yeah, someone just shows up and just you just see a cigarette burning and they're just hello, Master Drew. It's witching hour. Alright. So yeah, I'll put down a bunch of
Is
ideas.
that old number 2 that just got demolished?
Yeah.
Wow.
That was mostly
That's impressive.
Well, that's fine. He was hungry. He
Yeah.
asked for the bowl, so.
Yeah. I'm just impressed at the speed that you missed a few.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did run for a very short period of time a Lovecraftian role-playing game. And what was really funny is everybody kept being like cops and military, and everybody's like super powerful when it comes to fighting shit. And I'm like, that is really boring. You know, like I want some variations, like
Right.
like doctor, or librarian, or teacher, some sort of scholar, you know, all sorts of stuff like that. That would be beneficial to the team.
Then the problem is how to make all those characters like usable, so it's not boring to play them.
Exactly. So I gave them surprise phobias. Like one of the soldiers was afraid of ammunition. Not the guns themselves, but every time they tried to load their guns, they would like freeze or absolutely lose their mind until they like dropped these bullets. You know? I'm like, well.
I was talking to the GM that he and I, that's how we met, was in another group. I was playing Friday, and he was telling me about he used to have a group when he was in high school, and everyone was just like, just killing everyone, like you know, NPCs, no matter like anyone that came across, they'd just be like, I want to kill him, I want to shoot him, I want to stab him, I want to like, and he was getting really like, there was no story of nothing because everyone just kept on like all these chaos.
Yeah.
So what he ended up doing is he ended up capping everyone at 25 points.
Oh my god.
Which is the same. So all the like most like non-player characters are 25 points as well. So it's like you're basically equal to everyone else. But it was just like so difficult for them to act
Yeah.
out.
That's amazing. Yeah, it was really funny. They barely survived my first game. They literally had to do the cliche, kill some rats in a basement. Of course, there's like a major rat inside this hole and shit. It's huge.
Right.
Yeah. But one person nearly killed himself by shooting himself by accident in a dark basement. And I'm like, well, I stopped it. He died. But
People let him die.
yeah.
All right. So when we last left our Fearless Avengers, we were walking through this corridor with these various photographs of famous. You're wearing the armor, right? You're wearing the suit. You're wearing that armor without the helmet.
Oh yeah, probably.
Yeah, it's like it feels like a little bit sluggish. Like your basic move is reduced by 1, but other than that, you get plus 10 to strength. So
And so I have to use like a weapon from this suit.
yeah, because the hands are too big. Like you could essentially try to like take one of the hands off, one of the gauntlets off to give yourself.
So what sort of like firearm I have on this suit?
Kind of firearm you have on the suit? It's the artillery piece. Remember, it does 20 dice. 20 dice damage.
Alright. How many rounds is that for?
It's got like a box. Ammunition on the bottom, and there's 18 rounds in the box. There's 1 round in the chamber. It's a one shot. Each time you fire it, you have to like reload it. And just so you know, I mean, anyone within 1 hex of you that's firing it has to roll against shock or stun because it's so loud.
Okay.
Okay, can I borrow those books for a minute?
Yeah.
Got to experience the force of
I've got
a
some time this week. Brush
If you want to, just take these ones.
those are nice.
Yeah, well, the thing is that the campaign on this one is falling apart. So it's possible that if you like this is like breaking, right? So I'd rather you take the new set.
Okay.
Then I know there'll be.
like it was a
I brought a
World
t-shirt
War I
today.
musket.
Well, and if you would like to, and if anyone else, by the way, as well, is interested in like running a game, I'd be happy to give that share up. And also, of course, if you're someone who's never run a game before and you want to run a game, I'd have to like sort of co-run it with you, where I help you with sort of the mechanics, and I still have a player. I wouldn't know the story. You'd be in charge of the story and sort of moving the characters ahead, but I'd sort of help out with some of the other stuff as well. So just an added incentive that people want. Hard with this. It's gonna break my teeth on that. So as you're walking through this corridor, with my
You're talking about like the stuff, everything else, it reminded me of experiencing what World War I musket did. I was standing probably from like where I am now to like that corner of the wall right there, and he shoots it. I immediately go blind. I'm pushed back on my ass because of the force from the black powder. You just get pushed, and just it took me a while to get my hearing back. Because I don't know how people normally want to survive their own gun, let alone everything else.
well, there's also a lot of other loud
I
noises.
was holding a camera, yeah, and he goes boo, and I'm like boo, like I just fell backwards from the force.
Well,
No.
it quite often happen on shooting range, even like with regular rifles. Let's say if someone has like muzzle brake, often you feel like someone punching in the nose.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
it's just like guys sitting there.
It was just raw, like
Just depend on direction of this like of the shock waves. So.
Yeah. Like for this gun though, the shockwave is literally just
I just
like it just comes out like
I just ordered like black powder rifle.
oh my god, did you?
Yeah.
Oh, they're
So
fun.
because
They're fun.
well, not older style, like new one, because like this year like, was not really successful. So
What do you mean you shot stuff and it just bounced off?
we just got like 3 deer with all our guns, so we still have like tons of like tags left. And on December 3rd, I will be back from business trip on December 3rd, and then like another week of muzzle loader starts. So we may try to catch up.
Oh boy. We have fun with that.
Sorry.
We continue to use the black powder for a homemade cannon. You're like that was 400 grain.
Cannon is homemade.
And
Don't
then,
have because it's called black powder now because it's a slightly different compound, but it's more essentially the same thing.
it's loose. Like you're not packing it in a tiny bullet. It's just loose.
Deuce. You know?
Well, I guess technology like stepping forward even in this
Yeah,
case.
it's a little different.
So now they do like you can use regular black powder, but they also produce sort of like powder pellets.
Oh, okay.
You can just
Nice.
like throw like a couple pellets in a muzzle instead of
So
like
having
membrane
to like
powder.
pack
Yeah.
it in and yeah, that's cool.
So I will probably go with this. They're not too expensive. Probably I will need like just a couple shots a year.
As long as you hit it. Is it? I guess it's a fight. Is it like if the gun the barrels are like rifles and stuff? It's not
Yeah,
just like
like a bit
smooth
like
bore.
rifle rate is different, but it's something in the middle, I would say, between shotgun and an actual rifle.
Anyways, we're using this cannon and it's obliterating stuff. And I'm like, well, what's the grain? He's like, oh, it's 400. I'm like, so what happens at 600? He's like, I don't know. I've never used 600. 600 shot the cannon off of its like where it's bracing from. It just goes whoa backwards, and the wooden target that I had made just splinters. It was so bad because we just like shoved rocks and stuff in it.
Oh my god.
Yeah, hide behind the safety propane tank wall. we just piled up empty propane tanks.
So as you come up this like corridor, this is like the nice like fancy corridor that you were coming up, and there's a carpet on the floor here. It's like fancy designs on it. It looks kind of like boobs, but it's not. Anyway.
Say it's boobs.
I have a question.
Those are some crazy boobs.
Did we try to like give some like medical help or like if
I'm
you
back
die?
up to like 13 from a little while ago.
Well, there's
Oh, we got this.
The
We
shots.
got, yeah.
So
We
you got two
shots,
types. You got shots with that had like a it's two types, right? You got one that had like a medical cross on it, and then you had ones that had like a centurion helmet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Very poorly drawn centurion helmet. You get it. You get it, Drew. So anyway, as you walk into this sort of, it's like kind of like a grand entrance room, and it doesn't look like you're in an underground complex at this point. It looks like you're in a mansion, a fancy house. There are, when the carpet ends, this hardwood floor begins, like a deep walnut or a cherry, and there's what appear to be gas lamps on the walls, lighting this space.
Are they working now?
They're on. Yep. They're lit. There's a huge chandelier in the middle of the room here, hanging above, crystal chandelier, that appears to have candles in it, like old school candles. There's a large.
They're like lit as well.
Yeah.
Like candles.
The candles are flickering. Yeah, the flames are flickering. There's a large central staircase in the room, with sort of smaller staircases that lead up into the second floor. But also underneath the area that you're in right now, it looks like you can sort of go underneath and like, to another area back here, which you can't see. This is all sort of in shadows here, underneath the staircases that come up. Does that sort of make sense? Sort of like a grand central. There are display cases littered about this main floor, and they seem to have sort of like curiosities in them. Sort of, you can see like there's some sort of hypodermic syringe, but it looks like the needle has like multiple ends to it. It like spreads out, and has different bore needles that all come out of the same center plunger. Yeah. And there's like tags underneath each one. You're just coming in now, so you can just like you can't sort of read what's on the tag sort of while you're standing. There seem to be like all sorts of like there's a book that's got some sort of wrapping around it. There's like I said, there's sort of like just different curiosities. There's like a vase of some sort. There's a crucifix that sort of looks like it's made out of stone. There's a few other things. You can't see all. I've just drawn 3 out on each side, but it's about 6 or 8 cases on each side. And as you walk in, you can hear what seems like to be light piano music. You can't really explain where it's coming from. Okay. Can you make a perception check? You get +1 to your perception roll, so you're rolling under a. Oh, you've got a cute vision, so you've got a 50. So you get 6 3. You get 6. Yep. You make it by a lot. There's something over here that catches your eye. Something on this side over here. It looks like some sort of picture or something that you recognize it for some reason. It just catches your eye immediately. Yeah. So you go over there and you're sort of surprised. You stare in this is a black and white photograph of Ann Albers. You know Ann Albers?
Yes.
Chick. This lady, excuse me. Yeah. Yeah, Ann Albers. There's a picture, a black and white picture of Ann Albers.
She's still in the other side. They left her there.
There's a picture of Ann Albers.
Yeah.
And she is talking to you.
Oh, a picture. Oh,
There's a
we were all
picture?
friends.
Yeah, right. So there's a picture of you guys from the desert, from the Gulf War. You guys sort of work together.
Wait, it's a picture of them talking together, or
Yeah.
is like she talking to him through the painting?
It's a black and white picture.
He could be going crazy. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm a crazy person.
That's what crazy people say.
That's true.
And underneath the picture, there's a caption, and the caption says, "Dr. Albers recruiting subject 3."
What?
Ooh, what the fuck?
That's great. So that was our whole friendship.
Da, da.
Okay, that's interesting.
That bitch.
Okay.
I just see you standing in front of that picture.
Yeah.
Weird.
Am I supposed to do anything else?
Anything you'd like to do?
I don't know.
You want to like take it down,
What's
or
behind the picture? What's behind the picture? Is there a secret compartment?
Do you go around to other people's houses and try to keep your head
it's screwed to the wall.
Oh shit.
I unscrewed it. That's not an screwdriver. But I have. I don't have a
And
Yeah.
he has a toolkit.
I have lock picking. I have lock picking.
Lock picking
Okay.
is not screws
That's
though.
There's no lock.
Trust me.
You can try and like use your knife and just like wedge it off the floor, wedge it off the wall, or unscrew it.
Yes. I do
Okay.
Take out your magical butter knife. There we go.
that. Is that just
No, you don't have to roll. That's just like you end up sort of snapping the tip off your knife, like dulling the tip of your knife on these screws. You manage to get 3 of the screws off, and you sort of lift the frame off a little bit. You can't see anything behind it, but you can keep going if you want to unscrew the final screw.
Do it.
just tear it up? Why? There's nothing behind it. We already looked at the behind it.
Well, you look behind it, and maybe there's something inside the frame. I don't know.
Okay.
I'm just telling you. I'm not saying
Take
anything.
it, sure, take it off.
You
Take
tear
the
it off.
frame off. I tear up the picture. I look inside.
Okay, there's nothing. Just trash.
I smash it on the ground because I hate hand now.
Okay.
We'll just see.
So I would take a walk and read like what's under this, like things around. What's like
Yeah. So there's a book that's wrapped in some sort of gossamer, like light silk lace material, and it has and it looks like the way that it's tied around the book. There are like holes in the lace, and it's kind of interwoven with what look like to be finger bones, human finger bones, sort of keeping the material laced shut. And when you look underneath, it says that it's something called the Sangatha Holy Book that was unearthed in India in the early 1930s and was a source of sort of inspiration for a number of early attempts to reanimate corpses. There's also a crucifix, which is from the around 1050 CE, and it was used. Apparently, it was one of the original relics that was used to keep unholy crusaders at bay. And again, this is sort of cannot be proven or tested because there are no sort of supernatural evil creatures. There looks like to be some sort of strange pistol in here. Do you have soldier? You can roll on soldier. You have history.
no.
Okay, so roll on soldier -1. to be a gyrojet pistol. Gyrojet pistol.
That's a thing.
It's a pistol that shoots small
Rockets.
yeah, self-propelled rockets.
Fuck.
And it looks like it shows obviously there's a tag that says but it doesn't mark it as a gyrojet pistol. It markets it. It looks very much like one, but it says like experimental variant, and there's sort of like a wooden box of rockets beside it that have purple tips on the rockets.
Oh yeah, the color scheme comes back. So it's a little rocket launcher.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like a little mini-
Why do they call it that? I thought I shot gyros.
Gyros? Yeah, it does. Yeah.
Just
So watch
delicious.
out for that sesame sauce.
Just open up.
So
sandwich,
it's
just
like
get
closed, or I can take it.
Well, it's in a glass case, but you can smash or open the glass case if
I
you
will.
want to. Okay. Okay. So you can't really hold the gun because it's like it's handheld for a normal.
No, I will hide it
normal human.
somewhere.
Yeah. Okay. You're gonna take the box of bolts as well. Okay. What are you putting in your armpit? Like, where are you gonna? There's not a lot of space inside the armor. So,
So
like,
I would expect I have a sort of backpack.
do you have
like
it
with
on
all my
your
stuff.
backpack on your carry?
Oh yeah, I can.
Yeah, you do. Okay, yeah, you have a backpack. It doesn't fit very well in the armor. You have to open it to the biggest thing, and it looks kind of silly on the back. It kind of looks like a kid's backpack, but you know, it's not only the size; it's also the My Little Pony pictures on the back too. That kind of
Very, very
speaks a little bit more to that. So yeah, you take that. Drew, is there anything you want to take or look? There's more things to look at if you want to, or
The pictures. I can see it off pretty.
yeah, there's pictures of other people that you don't recognize. Yeah, similar
So
sort of.
did you tell us about your finding, or we're not aware?
Oh yeah. She told me.
Are you gonna tell everybody?
Well, then I will actually
Shoot him.
no. Well, first of all, I will ask him like what actually happened. So what did she do to you? So why would it could it?
Well, you just work together. You don't know or you don't remember her doing anything to you.
We were just working together.
Do you remember what this dialogue was about? So this conversation was from?
No, definitely not.
So I would go like around and check like another pictures. And by the way, I have photographic memory, so I remember all of that.
What?
And I'm looking for any like things like maybe like object 2, object 1, somewhere else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have a deeper look around, and as you're looking, you see a photograph of someone that looks like one of your first commanding officers when you were still going through military training. You recognize this person, but you're not in the picture. It's just a picture of them, and it says that they're basically the person that you know, like this commanding officer, or whatever their name is, and they're getting a medal pinned on their chest by this guy here. But he's only got one eye.
You can't trust him to put a pin on you like this and then
It's just a tap.
And did you see like this guy like running somewhere like naked outside? Well, we just like enter. You remember like
Yeah, remember
strange
there was
guy
a
like
I
running.
didn't think that was him.
No.
What was his name?
Yeah, like, we did.
Was it
see,
this guy?
Not that guy.
No, we did see a guy, but it wasn't him.
But it's like supernatural guy who went like down the hill, like it's impossible to went do
Yeah.
like naked in winter or something like this.
No, but he wasn't dressed like that.
like sort of lost or something like this.
Like difficult to identify his face because it was blizzard. So yeah, it could be him. He looked like to have far too much of a muscular ass to be this old man here.
So how this picture refer to this guy? So what's on the text below the picture?
It says, Honorable Forecastle, providing medal of commendation to Commanding Officer Braithwaite, who was the guy that was your commanding officer, for providing numerous test subjects for furthering research within Project Delta.
Okay, so let's check for the reference to the rest of the guys.
Yep. You find, Ruben, you need to roll on your willpower. Yeah.
Bodes well, bodes well.
Yeah.
Yeah, gosh.
Yeah. Good. Isn't it? What's your willpower?
Oh.
What's this?
Fuck.
Ah! I'm like, what is going on? I'm like, now I'm adding it up in my head. I'm like, am I doing this right?
Math is changing.
You're sort of, you start feeling dizzy, and you start feeling like you're short of breath.
No.
And you sort of, you kind of sink to your knees. There's a picture that you're looking at, and it's a picture of you. And your chest, you're wearing a bomb suit, but your chest is got a gigantic piece of metal shrapnel in it, the size of like a stove door, like an old oven door, like a huge thick like cast iron door, and it's in your chest. And you can, and you can see that you're lying there and your eyes are open, and then it just says underneath, test subject for prior to resuscitation.
Mind blown.
Are we all robots?
I don't know, Drew.
I'm only partially at least. Because see my
Yeah.
brain.
There's no
Well, they can't right
there's no photograph of her.
now. Oh shit.
What about our Mexican friend?
Mexican family.
Like we got the guy in the very beginning.
The one that gasped.
You can see what looks like to be, it could be him, you don't really know. This person has tattoos of snakes all over their arms, and it looks like they're getting a second arm removed from underneath their armpit.
Nice. I kept it.
But it says
Mr.
subject 9 undergoing normalization surgery.
Is that supposed to mean something to us?
So do you have any sort of like scar on this place? Do you have any sort of like scar on the chest?
I want to rip all the things on the office.
Rip them all up.
No, I just want one of the lamps. I guess.
You're gonna rip the gas lamp off the wall?
Yes.
Why? Roll strength.
Because
It's always 3.
1.
3.
She breaks. Always 3.
Okay.
Always 3. Okay. This gigantic explosion as you pull the gas lamp off.
Why? I don't understand.
I didn't know it was like, I didn't understand that it was like piped through the wall. I thought it was just like literally a gas lantern.
No, but why did you want to?
So
tear it off?
later on, if we run into something, I can throw it at them, and then there's a lot of fire. Obviously.
So it's like not GURPS style, it's gas.
Like legit gas, yeah.
So this is the radius of the explosion. You can roll a dodge.
Okay.
Do you have combat reflexes?
I would like to see yes, but unfortunately you
No, you don't. Okay, so you can't roll a dodge.
I do have damage resist though from tough skin.
What is your damage resist from tough skin? What does it say? Damage resist
Resist
4. Okay, but unfortunately that only helps against
Well, like
slashing and thrusting, not
Oh really?
heavy burning and explosives.
That's unfortunate.
Since you did this like randomly on your own, I'm gonna say that Ruben was here. Drew is here.
Everybody's the
No,
same
no,
distance.
no, 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 no.
Okay. Do this.
So you take 8 points of damage, and you're on fire.
I'm gonna put the fire out.
You're actually standing in fire, so you're standing in this. You basically got blown back, but you're like lying like
Okay.
on the ground here, like this area is all on fire, and there's gas coming out of the wall, and it's like a huge fire. But it doesn't. But the floor doesn't seem to be burning.
This is why we can't have those things.
What
What
about
do you mean?
like
We?
what about a pneumatic fire extinguishing system on the building?
There doesn't seem to be anything triggering. The fire doesn't seem to be spreading. It just seems to be in this one area here. And you are. Do you have like high pain threshold? No. It hurts. You're on fire. You're screaming.
Oh yeah. Can I stop, drop, and roll?
Do you have first aid?
Not in the fire?
Then you don't know how to do a stop, drop, roll.
I don't have first aid in real life, but I still know.
That's
stop,
how the
drop.
game works. Otherwise, there'd be
God
like
damn it.
rolling your IQ.
It's a common.
Okay, you can stop, drop, and roll.
There. Not in the fire though. Out of the fire.
Okay. Stop, drop, and you roll on the ground, like around here somewhere.
Sure.
And are you watching her? Or are you going to go help her?
No.
I'm still mad about I'll go.
Still mad about what?
And Albers.
Hey,
Yeah,
you
we're
can like,
burning. Okay,
you can
whatever.
like
I got
take your,
problems too.
you can take your jacket off and wrap her in it to
Okay.
try and help her
Yeah,
collapse her up. You have first aid? You can't do that.
I can't even do that.
You can roll on IQ. Oh yeah, yeah, you're good.
11. Just weird.
Yep, you're good. Okay. So you wrap her in a blanket, or sorry, you wrap her in your jacket,
Yeah.
and you slowly put out the fires.
Slowly.
Calm
With care.
down. Wait, I'm-
Okay, hang on.
Can you please roll a health roll? You're conscious. You're in a lot of pain. Your body is shaking. As you take the jacket off, you scream in pain. Your
My
skin
skin comes
is like
off.
attached to the jacket, and as you start taking it off, you can see that like all of her skin is just coming off, and you can see that underneath, so there's like thick sinew of muscle that's got these metal attachments that are connected to her skeleton with these like sort of mounting points. And as you are like taking the jacket off, you can see that the bone, like where it's stitched to the bone, the mounting point is like, it looks like the bone is like flexing, like it's almost breaking because of how thick and heavy the muscles are that are attached to her frame.
Okay.
Like Arnold Schwarzenegger times 20. Sort of thing.
So
Do the bones look like natural bones?
They look like to be normal bones.
can I give her like a shot of this like medical stuff?
You want to give her a shot of this
Yeah.
one or a shot of this one?
No, shot of first one.
Shot of the first one?
Medical.
Aw.
Okay. Roll a health roll -2. Failed.
Damn it.
You're unconscious.
No, you're not unconscious.
Doesn't work.
You get 8 hit points back instantly.
Back up to there.
and your IQ is reduced by 2.
No, like permanently?
I don't know.
So, 2
You just basically there's like a brain fog. You're like, yeah, oh, you're doing really good, guys. You're doing, so far you're doing
Look,
really
I
well.
am my greatest enemy, okay?
What happened to her, like skin? Any like visible reaction on this shot?
It looks like the skin is like
Is my skin
slowly
mask attached?
coagulating and starting to like restitch, but it's very slow. You can make an IQ check.
Fail.
Okay. You're not sure how long it will take. You would say days for it to be fully.
So let's go investigate the rest of the stuff.
So she just has no skin now.
Yeah.
On her upper body.
Also, brain exposed wearing. But how's my skin mask? How's that candle? I can't see that.
What do you mean?
Remember when I put on that guy's face and I
Yeah.
did that to? Was it on fire too?
Not
Did it
really,
go
no.
away? No.
It seemed to be remarkably resilient to
So-
fire.
So you still have
I'm
someone
quite a
else's
mess.
face on?
I'm quite a mess.
Yeah.
Of course, I've been walking around with someone else's face the entire
Wait,
time.
was I gone for that episode? When did that happen? Why are you having somebody's face on?
Because it was these people hanging off from the ceiling.
You were there.
Because when we got those like weird like
The metal barcodes.
Yeah, I managed to
So why we live stream it, so you can.
take the stand.
As for next week, your preparation is to watch and take notes.
Anyways, so if we like go through the rest of the pictures, they all like showing something happening with like test objects.
For the most part, yes. I mean, the one that you saw with your commanding officer didn't have a test.
Yeah,
subject in it.
but let's say a picture was him was like pretty interesting. Anything like that, not just showing like test objects or like recruitment of object, but something happened to this object, something weird on the pictures, like more than just like his picture.
Right. Well, there's a picture that's showing what's his name there. There's a picture that shows Henrik, and it looks like a portion of his head is like crushed in with like a wrench or a hammer or something like that. And he's laughing and he's like drinking a beer.
And what's
And the caption is his first successful test of the Spartan formula.
I'm gonna take a look at the rest of these like
Okay. So, which one you are looking? Oh, there's more than these, so it doesn't matter. In this one at the back here, it looks like there's some sort of leather case with a pouch. And in the pouch is what look like to be vials of mercury, like liquid mercury or liquid metal of some sort.
right.
And upon closer inspection, you can see that they are actually 308 cartridges. Except the casing itself, like the end tip, is like metal or lead, but then this liquid. It's like the rounds from. It looked like the rounds from Underworld.
Okay.
You know, with like mercury in like a glass.
Yeah.
Sort of. What they look like.
Any like distinguishing like
what's on the description?
yeah, description of any kind or like
Yeah.
plaque.
It just says Quicksilver rounds developed to fight the supernatural during World War II.
This is weird, like Hitler supernatural shit.
I'm not sure if 308 round was there during World War II.
But the size, like it's the approximate size. I'm just sort of.
But the question is, if we can use it in any of our
Not sure
44
not
Sturm
sure
Gewehr.
not sure there
Good,
goes
is that better?
items.
Well, in that same cabinet, there's also a rifle, a modified
Oh,
rifle.
a rifle for it as well?
Correct. Yeah, it's a modified rifle. It looks like it's being reinforced to handle the escalated forces used when firing rounds of this variety.
So we definitely need it.
I can't use it because I don't have a rifle skill.
Well, you can use it at submachine gun -2.
Alright, I'll take it.
Yeah. There you go. Is your submachine gun skill -2 okay?
It's 11.
That's not bad. Just aim for a while. Drew, is there anything else you want to do?
Have we looked in all the display cases? Yeah.
Yeah, there's a number of like the other ones that you're looking at are more like what seem to be relics of some sort, like the finger bones of a saint or the head of so and so.
Yes, take the head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Playing God of War, I know what happens when you take a hit. It's always good. It's always beneficial.
Exactly. There's something that chills you to your bone. What? It's a copy of the Order 1886.
Oh my God!
High five.
Why?
That was waiting for that one. No. The thing that shocks you to your core is it says do you want some more popcorn, Drew? Okay. One more time is it?
So what about the thing?
The thing that shocks to your core, it looks like to be the skull of Hitler.
Oh.
It says Hitler's skull.
Oh. It's like I recognize that skull.
Yeah, you're like it's signed by Hitler. Now page out in the inside, and it says Hitler's skull after brain removal for reimplantation.
Oh.
Wait, are you serious?
Shit.
Okay. I thought you were just making this up.
You legit just walked into Wolf.
So probably like Hitler is somewhere like around running.
Yeah.
Power suit.
Running around naked.
Supposedly he's in the center of the earth, where all the neo-Nazis are born, and then they crawl up and like pop out of. This is a legit theory, by the way, not mine, but it's
Well,
someone.
how does it? I want to understand what makes it different between a theory versus a legit theory, because I don't feel like this is any more legitimate
It's just
than
the
any
fact
other
that
theory.
it's just the fact that somebody else came up with it and not me. Like you can find this theory on the internet. It's
Well,
not something.
I can find lots of things on the internet.
Yeah. So someone this comes from people who believe this is still alive.
So let's move forward then.
Yeah. So do you want to go underneath the stairs and see what's happening here? Or do you
Yeah.
want to go up the stairs?
Yeah, underneath first.
Okay.
You mentioned the bird.
You want to look at the bird hand?
So
Yeah,
it's
Celeste.
Oh, that's it.
And it's just a picture that says "My beloved Celeste."
I can't use anything
But
creative.
the tag
like,
says-
like my connoisseur of visual arts or my art appraisal or
The tag-
pageantry or
The
anything.
tag that says "My beloved Celeste" is written in your hand, not your handwriting, but your old character's handwriting. Like you wrote the tag.
Oh shit. Awesome. Yay, Easter egg. Alright.
Okay. So as you go underneath here, as you go underneath the staircase, the floor very quickly transitions from a nice walnut to concrete, and then to sort of what looks like to be tiled flooring, like a white and black sort of crisscross, very like traditional like kitchen tiling of some sort. And then there is a door at the back of the room here that just basically says there's like 2 lights on either side, and then it says cold freeze.
Let's open it.
Okay. You spin the door open, and you push open the door. As you step through the door, it's a fairly large room. it looks like there's conveyor belts.
It's like an airport.
It's like an airport. And there is basically a large tank in the middle of the room here. And hanging in that tank is a body that is missing an arm and is missing both of its legs. And it's hanging like where its arm is, it's like there's like a suction cup or some sort of like thing like attached on it. It looks like loop like floating like a back tank. It's like a you know like attached, and the it looks like there's some sort of face kind of thing with like a tube coming out, and just every once in a while you see a couple bubbles, and the body is just like loose. It's not moving around or anything like that. It's just sort of hanging in this like greenish hued liquid. Suspended. Thank you. Yeah, suspended in this greenish hued liquid. Underneath the as you walk in, you can sort of those lights are very sort of dimly lit. Underneath there is a sort of like an LED panel, and it just says subject 3.
Wait, wasn't someone here
What?
subject 3?
Wasn't I subject 3 in that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, you died and then like they just repelled you or
Yeah.
something.
That seems like what happened. But wait, we can see the face on it though. Is it my face?
Well, it's sort of like
Yeah,
it's
got a
yeah,
mask
yeah,
on
yeah,
it,
it's
though.
got a mask on it. Look, I mean, it's sort of like floaty. You're gonna have to get closer.
Oh, when I get closer, right?
Okay.
Like,
Okay.
I like that
Don't want to,
word.
but I have to.
Okay. Can you have like biological like equipment, bioengineering, right?
Biological hazardous material.
Bioengineering is what I need. It's good that you have that.
Bioengineering, yes.
Skill. Yeah. That's a good skill. That's what you studied with Ann Albers.
Have that.
That's what you studied with Ann Albers. That's what. That was what your sort of specialization was with her.
Oh, yes.
You were just a soldier before you worked with Ann.
Alright. Okay, so what am I
Bioengineering.
Bioengineering.
You vaguely you do recognize that it is that this whoever's floating in the tank has a strange likeness to you, but they look to be like older. They look like to be like their face looks more worn.
Oh, it's giving everybody. It's a
And,
psychological card.
Upgrade.
and you also notice there's like a scar on the chest of the body in the tank, and you remember getting that scar. You remember the like no, just like a line, like a cut, and you remember getting that scar. Like you remember getting that scar from when you were a teenager. You got pushed out of a window. You know, when you were at university, when you were at military college, you got pushed out of a window, and you remember cutting yourself there.
What happened was like weird. I was like, never mind that.
I don't think it's I don't remember that.
What do I have the scar on my own body?
You can check. When
Yes.
you check, there's no scar on your chest.
Oh,
What the
could be worse. Okay.
As you start looking around the room, you can see that there are like sort of on the conveyor belts, there are like metal rolling, sort of like cadaver trays. And can you roll in your willpower, please?
Yeah.
Okay. You start sort of breathing a little bit shallowly, and you sort of realize that all of the bodies that are on these trays are you. No.
All of them are, wow. Oh, shit, it's a lot of you. It's like Air Flux.
Like what?
Air Flux.
I played so as a side note, the last game that I played with Luke, Luke from the other team group, he did a sci-fi game, and I made a bioengineered assassin that I didn't remember because I had chip slots so that they would like put skills in my head for depending on so I didn't really have much of an identity, but my character had hands on their feet,
Oh, like
just like Banana Fox.
Scaphandra.
Is that her name? Yeah. She had like hands on her feet, so like basically you could. And I had
She also had these
cleaning.
like little missile things.
I had like clinging touch as well, so I could like, and I had ambidexterity, but because I had 4 hands, ambidexterity applied to all 4 of my hands, so I could like walk and shoot with my feet. Like I could like I could go anywhere and like use any 2 hands to shoot guns with it. It was fun.
I just thought the character was neat because it had like these little things that would shoot at, and it'd be a rope, and like she could basically just make a Batman escape out a window, just like, and then shoot, retract it, look at your body up
Dave
there.
Perez tried to
It was
show
really
me Amflex. I was too high and I couldn't handle
I have the entire
it. Dave
series.
Perez.
Yeah,
He put on Amflex like, here, I'll have the show. And I was like, dude,
Yeah,
just
you
don't
can't
do
when
it
you're
again.
stoned. It's
Can't
too
do it.
complicated.
Well, when
But
you
I'll
start
check
dying
it
in
out.
random episodes, you're like, what's going on?
Exactly.
Anyway. Okay. So yeah, there's different bodies, sort of just hanging out on these.
But they're all
Different
the same
bodies,
bodies.
or all like
on him.
Yeah.
And there are sort of like as you go closer and like if you want to like read the tags, it seems like one says Kuwait, 3 of them say Afghanistan, some of them say like Suez, like there's like there's
So
different
she's been
like
using me for all these different words. It's like a military.
are those bodies like wrecked or like dead bodies or
they seem to be lifeless, but it seems like the one where it's like missing its arm. Like one of them, it looks like the arm is being was being like torn off by like an improvised explosive device IED, and so but then it looks like another one where the hand has been like cut off, and then there's like if you look at the medical chart that's beside it, it says like arm removed for implantation on further clone.
Well, okay, I'm over it. It's neat. I'm probably a clone. Okay.
Yeah.
so? But again, those bodies, do they look like killed? They sound like gunshots.
Some of them are gunshots, some of them are stabbed, some of them are burned, some of them just being loved too hard. You know, like just all sorts of.
Oh, like the Yeti in Bugs Bunny.
Yeah, Snoop
Finds
Snoop.
the cat.
The main body is done. Does it look like alive?
Yep. You have computer. You can roll on computer -4 if you want.
Computer what? Operation, hacking, or whatever.
Well, computer operation. It's a machine that you don't really have the skill to do, so you can try to like fudge it. He tried to roll and he failed, so.
Fail.
Okay. You don't really understand the the readout or the computer that's attached to it.
So let's use logic. So all of ours somehow like related to all this story, and we were sent like here to figure out what's going on. So how do we know each other? What can we like go a bit into details? So we represent like different.
So all of your characters, you're sort of like the peak of your like you all come from a different place. You all come from either a different country or a different like Black Ops or sort of SEAL team, something that it's like JTF where you are wherever you are from, you're kind of like the leader or like the probably the most skilled in your profession or in your squad or in your team, but every once in a while you all get sort of pulled into doing like a mercenary assignment on your like sort of on your own. But when you go on your own, you always end up seeing you know these guys. That's what I said at the beginning. You all guys know each other because you just whenever you do jobs, there's like 10 or 12 of you that you recognize on a regular basis. You're not really friends.
Any other of those people on the pictures?
Yeah.
Of this 12?
Yeah, all the other 12 are on the pictures.
Okay.
Well,
So
that'd be no through Black Ops.
Yeah, through and it's never like you're never like, oh yeah, that guy. But like whenever you go on these things, you're like sometimes like, oh, I recognize that guy, or I fought with that guy before, or.
Are there like any people in the pictures who we do not know in this way? Like test objects which we haven't met, or just like 12 of us like usually met and 12 of all test objects on pictures. Is it exact match?
Yeah, no. There are some other people that you don't recognize that are also listed as test subjects, but you would say most of the people that are identified in those pictures are failed. It says like failure of test subject 32 or subject 18 gave out after immense rigorous testing with Delta.
Okay. So then, who can? Do we have any idea on who can pull us from like regular place? Who give an order?
You don't have like it's just basically it's not you never met like anyone who was sort of in charge. It was always someone that you trusted. For you, it was your commanding officer who first trained you that would always sort of contact you at first and say, I have a contract through another individual, and I've recommended you for the job.
So like I mean my current command is not involved. So
Nope.
I'm getting this this task like from outside.
Correct. So basically, at the first couple times it happened, it was like this trainer of yours from when you first went through military college that said, I recommended you to this organization to be able to do like high risk work. The pay is really good, and then after the first couple jobs, they would contact you directly without him being involved.
So, and I know this guy from the same place, this like commander in the picture.
Right. You know that, well, the guy so when you went through military college, this was like, when you were first like going through military training, this was your commanding officer, like the sergeant, the equivalent of the sergeant, except the special ops side, not basic training, just the special ops training that you did after you did your basic training. Like officer training, but like specialized. So like you would say like, I'm assuming your character is like in there, I don't know, how old is your character?
You tell me.
Well, I'm assuming that you're in like probably your late 30s. So I would say that this is like from your early 20s. That's where you first met this guy.
So, and this like body in a tank looks like way older than him.
Yeah. It just looks
What's your
more,
weight here?
it looks more like, until you saw the body in the tank, like he looks like an old dude that you've known before. But now that you look at him and you look at the body of the body of the tank looks more human. Like he just looks like a perfect version of himself. Like you realize that on his face there's no there's no like chickenpox scars. There's no like little like imperfections. Like his face is like very smooth.
So I'm describing to you this, and I'm asking if I have like the same stuff like on me. So I can should like use a mirror.
You also look like a clone.
Yeah.
Yourself.
Yeah.
But
So
what
we
would
can
I have
pretty
to
much assume that you are like clone.
Yeah.
So now we have to figure out whether like rest of us are clone or we are like different sort of experiment.
Right. Yeah.
Because I mean, you see, it's like a big room, which like all belongs to just like this test subject.
Right.
So I mean, other desks could be like different nature.
Yeah.
So am I looking as a clone in these terms?
When you look at him, he looks to be a lot more in similar condition to the guy in the tank. Like he looks more normal, more weathered. Yeah.
I would. I've been burying myself in that.
So on one of these bodies, we see like this hand removed,
Right.
and this record is like for implantation on new subject.
Right.
Does like he have like a scar on the hand in this place?
What?
Wait, what? Scar on his hand? What was this?
On the hand?
No, you have like a really like faint, like you have memory of getting your hand caught on like a barbed wire when you were crawling underneath to like rescue a civilian, but it's like it's around the same spot of where his other hand is being removed.
Does like his hand look like the same, left and right?
I think you've always like figured like you haven't really paid attention yet. It's like it's my arm, like you know. But when you look at it, it does look the skin tone does look slightly different.
And am I still like scarred up like my character is like has like burn marks on?
Yeah.
Or do I still?
But I mean, length of fingers and like general like construction of fingers, they are like with different people with different.
Yeah, they'd be thinner
So
and
his
longer.
like left and right hand, that they look like same. And if we compare to his hands,
Wait, sorry, I'm lost. What's the significance? What's happening? I had like a.
So in one of the bodies that was around this room, one of the even though one of the arms was on one of the bodies was like blown up by like an IED, the other one it looks like one of the other arms had been surgically removed.
Okay.
And when you read like when you read the medical report, it said that other arm was removed to be reimplanted on another subject.
Oh, and
Did
he
you
has-
take
he
Drew
has a line.
2.0
And-
and
yeah. So and when you look, when you compare,
A scar
you
there.
guys, you basically both have the same right
Didn't
hand.
you say he also got like pulling out a civilian from barbed wire? He has a scar.
That's the memory that he has. Yeah, he has a memory of like getting a scar there, of getting a cut there, and that's how he always like explained the cut.
and
Oh,
it says,
so it could be an
and
implant.
it says on this on the description that like our arm was removed to put another clone.
Right, it's correct.
So does he look like a clone?
Yeah, let's look at him. Is he clone-tastic?
No, he looks to be, you know, his body is covered in scars. His body is covered in scars. But as you look closer, you can see that the on the chest, you can see that underneath the scar tissue, there is underneath like the burn tissue, there's like a thick scar that you never really again paid attention to. That's like underneath the scar tissue that looks like it's like the same length as that piece of shrapnel that was in that picture.
Do I even remember like having seen like an entire door just like
No.
So which means that our memory was like definitely like modified to accommodate all this stuff.
Right.
okay?
Can we like do any sort of roll to like again like let's say he has this scar and thing like that. So what if he will try like to remember and like reconstruct like when he got all those like burns, scars and things like that? If there's nothing like supernatural in this, or maybe he will get to some
He has
idea.
a
Let's
backstory.
get
He has a backstory that describes how he got the scars on his body.
Yeah, but I mean, how it's related to like when did he get those scars which could cover this like shrapnel and things like this?
Well, it was like almost like a technique, and like
How old is your character?
35, so it was like 20s. And like all my character knows about it is that I was trying to disarm a car bomb, and I blacked out when the thing went off, and then I woke up.
So which
I have all
and
this stuff.
where did you walk up? Where did you walk up? Hospital or?
Just in like a military hospital.
Okay, so. Well, are there like any other doors in there, and where this like conveyors go?
Yeah, it just looks like the conveyors go like through like panels, well through like you know again that like that rubber that hangs in the like a meat packing plant.
Yeah.
It's like it sort of like goes along here like this.
Can I just like push this like rubber belts and just like try to see what's behind?
Yep.
Like, maybe use like flashlight. Or...
You have combat reflexes?
Yep.
Okay. Can you roll to dodge?
I'm not sure what my dodge is. I failed by one.
Okay. Can you make a strength roll?
Yeah. So now it's like 20. So yeah, I made it.
By how many?
By 7.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So you pull back, but like an arm reaches out and grabs you, and you like pull back, and as you pull back, another arm also grabs you, and it's both the same. It's two right hands.
It's the armpit arm.
It's two right hands, and you pull it out. I critically passed my strength roll.
Yeah.
So he's like, you pull it out. You're just like sort of like scared, like pull it out, and a body comes out of like underneath the rubber,
Yeah.
and it's one of his bodies, except it's got two, like on his right and his left shoulder, it's
Yeah.
both a right arm.
Yeah.
And it's all like the skin is like hanging down,
Yeah.
and it's all like it looks like deformed.
Mhm.
And he sort of like grabs you, and he's going this, and he's like, you're just pulling, and it's like his body is all underneath. It's like just coming apart. Like it looks like the biological, like it's sort of like disintegrating almost. Like whatever it was lying on, it was like the DNA was basically unstringing. Like it's just completely like, falling apart. This body. And as you pull it out, it's just like, and then it stops. And then it looks at you, and then it's like, we smell like owlbears. And as its tongue just like falls out of its mouth, and its bottom jaw just falls off, and it's like
a black ooze.
yeah, it's just like, no, it's like black like liquid just like comes out of its esophagus.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Killing fire.
Oh no, it just like drops to the ground, and like as you're looking at it, it just like starts like gellifying in front of you, like.
I keep going with that.
Yeah. Like what's that guy? Yeah.
Okay. So take another peek behind the rubber.
Well, not stick. Fool me once. No, you look behind the rubber, and it looks like the conveyor belt goes downwards into the darkness. You sort of like shine your flashlight, and you can see what looks like to be, as you look down here, like on the other side of this wall, there looks like there's a conveyor belt going down, and then there's other conveyor belts coming from other locations.
Yeah.
And they're all spiraling down into the depths.
And all
And
kind
they
of
all
like
have
this
like
bands.
they all have they all have like his body on them.
Different conveyors as well.
Pardon me?
Other conveyors have like
Yeah,
this body.
other conveyor belts have his body on it as well, but they all look to be like slightly different. Like some of them are a slightly different color. Like all of them on one conveyor belt look like they're a slightly different color, like slightly greenish hue, or like the face is like modeled on all of them coming out of one of the conveyor belts, or the eyes are like sort of bulging in some unnatural way.
Dude, you have to check it out.
Let's just do this one.
I'm bored now. Bye.
I'm fucking done with it. Fucking bullshit. Let's go up the stairs.
Well, again, we can just go like and explore this building like normal way. We may try to just follow these conveyors and go down the conveyors to different rooms.
they're just like they're basically coiling down. Like as you look down, it looks like the conveyor belts are like a braided hair, like because there's so many and they're all like combining into like knots and going up and up, like above and beyond each other, like combining and like meshing into this gigantic like strand of belts that like drop into the darkness.
How are the bodies staying on these conveyors on the upside down?
Well, because they're on carts. They're on like a metal, like a metal sort of like sheet, right? And it looks like they're all like sort of like attached.
Oh, like
Some of them are strung. Some of them look like they've like been nailed on.
And it's like still moving, like it's turned on. It's,
Nope.
oh,
Nope. They're all not moving, and they're all just like hanging down into the. Are you going down? Are you gonna go take a look?
Okay, that's why I'm asking. You're asking questions that. Yeah.
So all this like conveyors like coming from like the place I can see, or I can see like any other like I don't know like rooms where these conveyors are coming from.
Yeah, it looks like they're coming from slightly different rooms that are all kind of attached.
Like different elevation of these rooms, it's like different level or all on the same
All on
level?
the same level.
So where? If it's same level, so where on the map?
Well, like here, like there's a room here, like on the other side of this wall here. It looks like there's some sort of a panel, but you don't know whether or not there's a room here or whether it goes somewhere
Yeah,
else. Like you don't know. So there's like one here, there's 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 one here, and there's just like that, and they're all coiling, you know, amongst themselves, and like coiling down into different levels.
So maybe just like rush forward, keep it in mind, and go like upstairs. So nothing downstairs. So it's like what's the only room downstairs?
Yeah, it seems like the only room that's on that lower area.
Why did they put like this single door in this like museum section? Like what's the reason behind it?
You can roll on your. What do you have? You have like scrounging.
They consider they call this room as like the main or like one of the main like successful experiments, something like this. So they decided to connect it to the showroom. Well, what's there else?
Like have any scrounging or like investigation or.
I have criminology, cryptography, pretty much it.
Okay. Yeah, you can really use. You can roll in your IQ -4 if you want. Oh, you made it.
Yeah.
Okay. It appears that as you like sort of have a closer look at this door here or this wall, it looks like that this wall itself has some sort of rollers underneath it.
Okay. Okay. Okay, now it makes a lot of sense. Any control panel?
Nope. It just like looks like there are like how much do you pass by?
Well, if we count like minus more than by one.
By one? Okay, there it looks like there are like metal twist like T handles that you pull out from the wall here and here. And it looks like that they might be the words around them are written in Russian, but it looks like and it's strange, right? Because it's like mostly like all the pictures you saw were German related stuff, and now this stuff is Russian, but it was like a T handle here, and then it looks like it kind of goes like.
Can Artemis translate it for me?
Yep. So as when you access Artemis,
yep.
And you ask him like, can you translate this? He starts talking in German.
Artemis, can you speak like English?
he just keeps talking in German. Does anyone have history?
Yep. No, it's all military history.
Roll military history?
Yep.
You recognize the voice. It's Hitler.
I was just gonna say it's-
Jesus
It's
fucking
definitely
Christ.
it's gonna be Hitler.
It's Hitler's voice.
He trying to,
Talking in German.
so he like
Does anyone have German or languages?
so it sounds like he's like he answering me in
Yeah,
German,
yeah,
or
exactly.
he like just like telling his own thing.
You don't know because you don't speak German?
Does that help? Linguistics?
Yeah, yeah, you can roll on linguistics.
Ew. 3 days?
This is
3
just,
dice, always.
this is just coming out of a speaker.
Yeah.
Two.
This is coming out.
No, it's coming out of the AI.
That's terrible.
Oh right.
Yeah, it does. It sounds like. It doesn't sound like a speech. It sounds like he's answering. But you don't. You
Just
can't
general
tell. You
chit
can't
chat
tell
or
what he's
something?
saying.
Yeah.
No, I mean he asked him to translate something.
Oh. Interesting.
Uh,
You could ask him to translate it into English. Maybe that would work. But
Well, but then when I asked,
okay, sorry, I didn't realize. Just when you just said translate this, it was
Yeah.
spoken in German. When you ask him to translate it into English, it sounds like Hitler with a very strong English accent explaining to you that these are the handle. It basically says room rotation hub controls.
Room rotation.
Whoa. Awesome.
why do you sound like Hitler or Dennis?
Who is Artemis?
What?
Would you
Did you download Hitler? Is that what happened?
And who you are?
I am Hitler.
How did you get there?
I am.
Okay, with a god complex. Quick, kill it with fire.
Perhaps you should move deeper into the complex so that we may meet face to face.
Somehow I don't think doing something that Hitler is telling me to do
Yeah.
probably isn't a good choice.
Not just good.
Just gonna have a shower. It's all good.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's not.
It's really good.
That's
So what would be the best way to get into the complex?
Like, go up the stairs and find your way. You're not far now.
Why are you?
Maybe number 3 can help. Or number 3. Or number 3. Or number 3.
Door with glowing signs. Exit over it because it's getting crazy.
I guess we need to go up the stairs.
Yeah, we got.
Home, my children.
Oh, fuck off.
Welcome home. And then the AI unit just goes completely black, and all the lights turn off.
Like which flags turn on?
Well, on the AI, like on the device that you have, all the lights go off.
Well,
I don't know.
I guess we go up the stairs.
you got 2 choices. Go up or down.
Yeah. Go upstairs.
Well, we may try to find like a way around. What's the reason we put on these handles? Like, we have this control over room, so it either like this room's probably somehow like rotate. But what's the purpose of putting this handle in the room? So I mean, I would understand if like you can get like different rooms to be accessible from this hallway. But then what's the point in operating the system from inside the room? So where will you get, like either it will connect this room to different place if we try to rotate it, or will be just like locked in this room?
I mean, maybe it's used to like and
Like
flows.
normally
It's
from like
complex.
yeah.
I mean, we could always turn the handle and see what happens.
The handles only turn in one direction.
How many positions do we have? Like any markings on it?
16.
Like normally I wouldn't go and in a way our imaginary enemy suggests. So I would try to find like a way around. Let's try to turn this handle. Are we all like inside the room?
Maybe it's like reverse psychology.
I too would also like to see what happens to the handle.
Maybe he's expecting us like not to go up and meet him, and that's what we should do.
I will try to rotate the handle.
Okay. Both people have to rotate. There's two handles. They have to be rotated simultaneously.
Okay, I'll do it.
Oh, there's
No.
two handles.
Yeah. There's one here and one
Okay.
here.
Okay. So we'll do it.
3, 2, 1, turn.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Make a strength check, please.
Made it.
Okay. How many positions are you turning the handle?
One, probably.
Okay. You turn the handle to the first position, and the room slowly, and you can't really feel very much, but you sort of assume that there is there's like, you can see like on up, so here's where here's like the marking, and it just looked like paint on the wall, but as you turn it to the first position, you can see little lights underneath the metal or underneath the wall, like start like lighting up, and it just goes doot, 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 doot. And as it starts approaching the first notch, it just goes past it. Doot, 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 doot. Passes the second notch. Doot, 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 doot. Passes the third notch.
So let's stop it at
Stop.
like a next notch.
You're gonna pass, so you have to make a strength check again.
Yeah.
Pass by how much?
I passed by like a lot. Now I have this increase like by 11.
Okay, it just keeps going. It just like as you start to stop it, the handle just like tears itself out of your hand, and you really like you stop yours, and then you can see that the metal of the switch starts like flexing, and then you hear like, and then it slowly like you like choose to like let it go, and it like starts.
Okay, let's try it again at the next notch.
Okay, roll strength check again.
Yeah, I made it.
How much do you pass by? Not enough. It just tears out of your hand again. And the beating is going faster.
Let her try.
Do I see this struggle?
Yeah, absolutely.
No,
See, like,
perfect.
ooh,
Perfect.
ooh.
Perfect.
Okay. Get strength check.
Yeah.
15.
How much do you pass by?
Made by 9.
Okay, it tears itself out of your hand.
What about my hand?
How much did you pass by?
15.
Yeah, no. It starts the metal handle starts twisting.
Okay, let's try again. All together.
Are you letting go and letting it go, or are you gonna still hold it?
Would you want me to hold it?
No, let it go.
Okay.
It could break up.
Okay.
So let's try all together.
It's now here. It's now approaching this. It's going very fast. Like this.
Let's try again.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, go. Nah. Made it by 7.
Okay, no, it doesn't work. It twists out of your hand.
Oh man.
You got one more turn, one more try.
Should I try again too? Or
You both have
Yeah,
to try, yeah.
Holy okay.
All right, you have to let it go each time.
So made it by 10.
How much did you make it by?
Well, that's 11. That's 30.
No, it twists itself out of your hand
Yeah.
again.
So what happened next?
Yeah. It goes all the way to the end, and then it goes, and then stops. And it goes like this. All of like where the door is here, it looks like there's a bigger door in the wall, a larger door in the wall, and as it like slams, there's like reams of frost around this huge door, and like as it smashes to stop, like the frost goes around the huge door and around this like there's like a so here's the door that you guys opened, right? there is like a door like this in the wall, and it's got a huge like metal, like, you know, kind of separation, and there's like bolts in the wall here that were like you couldn't really see them because they weren't like they were very dirty or like missed. And as it like locks to the end, all the lights are lit up, and this like all along this line, the frost like goes like this, and like steam goes like this, and these two screws slowly turn, and then slightly pop out, and then this door slowly opens.
So where is Hitler?
He's upstairs. He's still just hanging out.
Through there, you see the gold master copy of the Order of
I'm
Ah,
gonna kill you.
What this?
No, it's a stupid inside joke. You want to explain it to him, Rebecca?
No.
Oh man, no. As you look into the room, there is sort of complete darkness, and sitting and in the middle of the room there is a desk, and like there's one light on the desk, and it's like it looks like a gigantic aircraft carrier. You can't see. It looks like the light that's above it is really quite far away, maybe 75 feet, and sitting at a desk in front of a typewriter. Drinking a cosmopolitan out of like a martini glass. This guy.
What's
Looks like
the
this
most
guy right
drinking
here.
brother?
Okay, this is, hold on. I'm not trying to
Yeah,
show this
sure.
side.
I understand.
So this whole thing, we're going to just rotate around 60 to like, whatever it is. What the fuck? Hold on. I thought it like went all the way around, so it should just be back where it started.
Well,
maybe
you have to take verticality into account.
Oh, it's like
Screw
spiral
elevator.
down. Oh, it's a screw elevator.
No. Ask Dave Perez about that. You can text him and be like, tell me about the screw elevator.
Okay. So, but wait, this
Okay,
is
I'm going for.
this is still through the door that we came in. Like the
Yep,
freezer door?
the same door.
So
Yep.
we opened up the freezer door and then we saw this.
No, basically, like here's the freezer door, which was like a small door that you guys went in and out. This bigger door was always here, but you didn't notice it because you walked through. Like this door,
okay.
this freezer door is in like a gigantic
We
door.
just
Now
didn't see that. Yeah, now it's just.
Yeah. And I think what we'll do is we'll stop there because it's 9 o'clock, and it's a good place. I had sort of like kind of tweaked some of the things. I mean, if you had gone another way, you might not have gotten here at this point. But I think this is a good place to stop because the next sort of
It's a little bit of a ghost town.
So,
yeah, there's some combat potential. So
when?
Texting
Well, we
you.
can kill this guy. Or we can join him.
yeah, the next part is really cool. The next part is really cool.
Nice.
So can we postpone it to by like 2 weeks because I know we will be out like next week.
I'm okay with that if people are okay with that. I just want to make sure that because we're probably going to only have like one more game, depending on how holidays go. I mean, I guess we've got how many weeks do you have for Christmas?
A lot.
Okay. I don't know what people's holiday plans are like this one.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm gone from December.
Oh, okay, no. We'll have at least one section before then. So
So-
we're not going to play next week. We'll play the week after.
Okay,
I'm
so
gone
it's
until
like
January.
December 4th.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I will be out like, for the next week.
Yep.
Flying to Eastern Russia.
Oh, that's super early.
Yeah,